Hey everyone, welcome to RevTrev NFL, and today we are going to be talking about the most shocking NFL storylines. It has been wild 3 weeks, like it's always wild every week in the NFL. I want to welcome Peter Day to the channel, back to the channel. We have so much fun together. Welcome, Peter. How are you doing tonight?
I am great, man. We have Monday Night Football. We got halftime in one show. We got 5 touchdowns by Josh Allen in the other show. Life is crazy right now. The NFL is nuts right now.
Right? And so what's the deal with 2 back-to-back Monday Night Football games? It's this week and next week they're doing double headers. I don't understand. One starts at, basically 45 minutes before the other one or half an hour. It's like, this is wild. Is this normal now or what?
I think it might be. I think that what they're trying to do is get more primetime games into their schedule. So they got the Thursday nighter, the Sunday nighter, and now they've got a couple of Monday nighters. So you actually have the national audience watching both of them. So if they start them later, what ends up happening is we're watching one of the games while the other one's in halftime. So you never actually have downtime. You just flip the channel and the NFL's got you for 5 hours.
Right? It's smart marketing.
What can I say?
Yeah, so like I said, we want to dive into the most shocking NFL storylines now. Just a reminder to anyone who's new here, we love talking about the NFL. I'm a Packers fan. Look at this. I'm a Packers fan. He's a Chargers fan. We love just talking about the whole NFL, but we are also addicted to fantasy football. So you're going to get both. You're going to get NFL content and fantasy football content. And sometimes they always are linked. Just a reminder, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe, please do. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and as well Facebook, Instagram. No, not Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. I'm all over the place. Facebook, did I say that? X on Twitter as well. Please hit the like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. So, Peter, we're going to dive into this crazy start to the season. And we say it every year, like the NFL's wild, right? But there are so many things that are going on. And I know there's one, you called me today and you're like, Trev, we've got to talk for an hour about this. Why don't we dive into the first topic tonight? And I'm going to give you the floor. About the Eagles and Giants.
Dog, I cannot get over it. I actually, you're playing it down. I was a little bit animated when I called you today. Here is the situation. You have a team such as the Giants in the NFC East with a team such as the Philadelphia Eagles. You have potentially, arguably, the best runner or top 3 runners in the NFL, and somehow you allow him to go to a divisional opponent. Not only does he go to a divisional opponent, but you have the number 6 pick in which you pick up Malik Neighbors, who is an elite receiver in the making. So Daniel Jones could do this. Daniel Jones, of all the things that Daniel Jones could do, he might be able to do this. And what do? You get rid of Barkley. Barkley said to the Giants before he left, he'd take less money than Philadelphia was willing to give him to stay in New York. And here he is. He's literally the NFL leading rusher right now at 351 yards so far. He is averaging 117 yards all purpose. He has 4 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown and 5 touchdowns. And what? And then the Giants fans, they must be crazy right now, dog. Come on. Philadelphia is loving life. And they're going, hey, the rich just got richer. Right. And New York is sitting back there. Now you got to get yourself a running back. Oh, man. Giants fans. I remember I had a couple friends that are Giants fans. I don't even know what to say to them. I don't even know what to say. This guy is off the hook. The only thing that stops him is an injury. Philadelphia didn't even play well till the 4th quarter. He literally scored their points for them to win the game. They went into New Orleans, one of the best rush defenses in the NFL, and he throttled them in the 4th quarter.
Wow. So it is the Giants, the New York Football Giants, the worst managed team in the NFL in the last 5 years?
It's bottom three. I'm gonna
okay.
Because there are arguments to be said. The Raiders have made some poor decisions. There's some other things, but the Giants, if you're talking about a mainstream market, they're probably right there. Absolutely,
right.
Yeah.
I just want to give a big shout out to Ebert 42. So glad to have you. He's a big Vikings fan. We're going to be talking about the Vikings for sure tonight. So stay tuned. And then Ryan, who's Pack Daddy, love his content. If you guys could just take a moment to hit the like and subscribe to his stuff as well, that would be fantastic. Anyways, good to have you guys here. And of course, always B-Pack is in the building, baby. I'm loving it. Okay. So, Billy, good to have you here. Okay. So, yes, Saquon. Okay. I was nervous fantasy-wise regarding Saquon because you had Hurts, who had 15 rushing touchdowns. They have the tush push, all these things. It does not matter.
No.
Saquon Barkley is a beast. He's behind a better O-line. Did I just say that? Yes, I did. He's in a better situation. He has a better team. He has a better quarterback. He has a better wide receiver core. I don't know what's going on in New York, but they're crazy.
Saquon got Christmas, right? Come on. He's like, come on, you guys. Seriously, I get this. I get to do this. When I was talking about with fantasy, there was a couple of a show that you and I did. I was like, if Saquon Barkley is there for me at 12, 13, I am taking him every single day. I love this guy. Even through the injuries, the guy is powerful. We were watching YouTube stuff of him squatting 600 pounds. The knee is fine. Saquon is fine.
Right. So you're saying that there's hope for Nick Chubb, who's squatting like 4 million pounds. Okay, so Peter. Now we don't have to guess this. The number one fantasy running back in the NFL right now is Saquon Barkley. The next one is going to surprise you. It is Kamara. The old man that everyone said was over and done with. That is pretty impressive, if you ask me. Now, granted, he had 43 fantasy points last week, so
it was the 1 week for sure that got it for him, but still. They run away that he is, and he's awesome for receptions too. Like you're going to get 80 receptions out of a guy like Kamara. So that's huge. Yeah.
And that's the wild thing. Him and Barkley both have 10 receptions already this season. Yeah. If my numbers are right here.
Yeah. Barkley's got 53 yards on 10 receptions and a score.
Yeah, and Kamara's got 10 receptions for 132 receiving yards, dude. Breece Hall is there with 120. A-Chain, or I don't even know how you say his name. I always say A-Chain. He has 17 catches for 173 yards. Are you kidding me right now? That is wild. And he had a bad week this week.
Yeah. Well, any quarterback in the NFL can throw a 4-yard flat pass, so we're good.
Yes,
we're still okay.
So we're shocked that the Giants didn't keep Saquon Barkley, and it just kind of, like you said, the rich get richer. I'm all in on this team. There's no AJ Brown for the last 2 weeks. They're still winning games.
Yeah,
I mean they are a great team.
And the thing is, dude, as the Giants go. Like if he goes to the Denver Broncos, if he goes to he's in your division. This guy is going to come into your house and throttle you. How does that even happen? I don't even. And from what I understand, Barkley was very, very transparent with the Giants, telling him what he had options that were like, dude. Oh man, I don't even know.
Well, and it just blows me away. Okay, so that one was the easy one because we're just both shocked. We can't believe this is happening. Now, just a reminder, like division wise, I think you're gonna be shocked about this. The Eagles are first place at a 2-1. The Giants are tied for last with the Cowboys. We'll get into the Cowboy conversation in just a moment. But it's like I'm surprised they're 1-2. I thought when I looked at this, it would be 0-3. So we're gonna talk about the Cowboys in a second, but let's dive into what Ebert 42 is here for. Many of the Vikings fans are here for. Are the Vikings for real, Peter? I did not see this coming. In fact, I said the opposite. I said they're going to win week 1, and I predicted they're going to lose the next like 6 or 7 straight. So I'm just saying I was wrong. Okay.
Said like a complete Packer fan. Folks,
no, but it's not that. It's not that. It's like I did not believe in Sam Darnold.
And I'm with you. And we had reason to not believe in Sam Darnold in a sense, right? But if you look at the situation that he has there, we're not talking like they didn't downgrade even at running back. They bring in Aaron Jones, right? Your boy is now in Minnesota with it's kind of like a Giants Eagles thing. It's like now he's in Minnesota. And here's the thing. When this guy has the receivers, Sam Darnold is one of the most accurate passers that ever came out of college. So he comes out of college in that way. So what they're doing is they're managing this guy. Tell me how many people, I give $1 million, I won't say that because somebody probably did it, that said that after week 3, not including tonight with Josh Allen, okay, before tonight, that Sam Darnold leads the NFL with 8 touchdown passes.
That's wild.
Are you kidding?
Nobody.
This isn't. No one's thinking that this is happening. Now he's a good clock manager. He's only throwing for 219 yards a game. The guy he's managing things. They're not putting him in positions he's not comfortable in. He's only throwing the ball like 26 times a game, 27 times a game for 219 yards, 8 scores. But when we're talking about the Vikings, I don't think that Sam Darnold is necessarily the biggest story. I think their defense, which is only allowed 214 yards on the ground in 3 games. Dude, that's like 71 yards a game that they're allowing on the ground to opposing teams. If you do that and your quarterback leads the league in touchdowns, that's a pretty good recipe for success in the NFL. And I'm going to come back to that when we talk about the Cowboys. We're going to stay on the Vikings. That's what I think about the Vikings. The Vikings are for real. The only thing that stops them is health. But you got to think Addison he's not even back yet.
Wow. Or Hawkinson.
I know. Now he's going to have a legit tight end in a few weeks.
Jeez.
I don't know, man. If their defense keeps playing like that and they keep him throwing 25 times a game, I don't know. They're actually, with that defense, a serious contender in the NFC. That is a playoff team.
Get this, Pete. The Vikings defense is like they're balling out. You're right. If they play like this, they're the number 1 fantasy defense. People didn't even draft the Minnesota Vikings defense.
Rambling on waivers.
Number 2 is the Packers. Nobody drafted them. Okay. Number 3 is the Chicago Bears, baby.
Look at that.
3 teams from our own division. Are you kidding?
Decided in the offseason that the division was going to be won on defense.
You know what? You're right. The Vikings look for real. And it's like you can't buy Jefferson. People are trying to get Aaron Jones right now. I mean, if he stays healthy, he's dynamite. But you're right. Like Addison, I just traded Addison away in a league to get McBride. I still like that deal. But man,
but you can't.
I've got Hawkinson sitting on the IR on the pup list thing on most of my leagues. Like I'm loving this as a fantasy owner. As a Packers fan, I am seriously in shock about this storyline.
They are a tough home team too. That is a loud building in the playoffs. So if they win the division, that's a tough place to go to win. And if you get a guy like Addison, the safety cannot double Jefferson. If the safety doubles Jefferson, they have no problem feeding Addison. He's going to get the ball. And then you have the underneath with Hawkinson later on, who's going to come back in the middle of the season and have been injured and stuff, but he's only doing physio at this point. He's going to be rested. The guy's going to be motivated in week 10. So if they keep that up, dude, I got to tell you, they look good.
They do look good, and good on these guys. Look at Ryan has a Packers defense in fantasy. I mean, you played Tennessee this week. That's a good pickup. B-Pack, he's a homer as well. He drafted the Packers defense. He believes in this defense.
Hey, good for him.
But I'm telling you right now, Minnesota Vikings fans didn't draft Vikings defense. They did not. And if they did for week 1 for the against the Giants, there's no way they started them against 49ers week 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Coach Rob Willie, welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you here, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Okay, we're going to dive into the next question. And this is actually a big question regarding who's the biggest losers? We talk about 2 positive things. Who are the biggest losers in the NFL right now? The 49ers, the Cowboys, the Jags. By the way, it was 34-3 at halftime for the Bills over the Jags. The Titans, who are 0-3. The Chicago Bears, who thought, oh man, I knew Bears fans that thought they were going to be 12-5, Peter. 12-5.
Yep.
They are 1-2, which still respectable, but that offense is disgustingly gross just right now. So kind of rank maybe your top 2 biggest losers, maybe top 3 out of this list. Maybe I'm missing somebody. Please let me know.
Well, I want to just for the Bears fans that are in the house right now, I want to just bring them a little bit of peace. They were saying they could be 12-5 at 1-2. That is technically still possible. Okay. I want to put that out there.
Yeah, thanks.
I think the 2 losers, and for 2 different reasons. I don't think because the organization is a muck, but I think the 49ers are the top team that's the biggest loser at this point. And that being what I heard today about, or what was released today about CMAC, is he's actually over in Europe trying to figure out what the heck is going on with his Achilles.
Right.
And then we have Debo. Of course, Debo's Debo. If Debo plays 11 games a season, you're happy with that. So he's injured. And the news today, Brock Purdy is going in for MRI on his back. He may be inactive for a couple of weeks. You're talking about losing your starting quarterback. And Purdy is a manager at best. He's not a star quarterback, but he really does manage well. He's a smart quarterback. He's got great feet. If you lose those 3 guys minimum, and I forget, one of their top defensive players this weekend went down as well. I'm trying to think of who it is. I'd love to say, but I think I'd be wrong. So you have potentially Purdy, CMAC, Debo, and one of your defensive guys, maybe one of your defensive captains, out now for the 49ers, and a pretty tough schedule because the Seahawks are playing well. However, my actual answer is the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys suck. Anybody that's sitting out there right now that's a Cowboy fan, the Cowboys suck. Dak Prescott is going to hit you some fantasy numbers. This defense, you have a crazy type owner who is like, I get it. He's a football guy. I get it. Jerry Jones. He was so inactive in the offseason, and the Cowboys got worse. They didn't accomplish anything in the offseason of value. So you got Micah Parsons, who is an all-pro. He's going to be potentially an all-defensive player in the NFL for every year that he plays. He has nothing around him. They are literally allowing, I believe they're last in the NFL, allowing an average in 3 games of 185 or 186 yards on the ground. Like, they allowed 274 to Baltimore.
Wow.
274. This is the NFL, man. This isn't like, you're not talking Pee-wee leagues, right? You cannot survive like that. There's no way. And so Dak Prescott goes out there and he, does this big 4th quarter comeback, and it's not enough. Your defense is leaky. You can't do it. So I think the Cowboys have a very tough time making the playoffs unless there's some significant changes in Dallas.
I agree. That's a really good analysis, Peter. Here's the thing, though. You're right. As the NFL story, for sure, that is, they're pretty bad. I mean, now granted, they don't really who do they have other than CeeDee Lamb? Can we? And it's not our fault. I mean, it's their fault.
Well, who's their back?
Exactly.
They signed
That was my next
Elliott.
question.
They signed Ezekiel Elliott. They signed Cook. And all I ever see is Dodal.
Right?
Who's their back? So I think Prescott threw. I'm not. Don't for those fans out there. I think he threw 57 times yesterday. I think he had 57 attempts, is what I believe he had. It's like every defense in the NFL. Yes, you'll beat them sometimes, but you can't do that every week. You can't do that every week. And then if you can't stop the run, that's a disaster. It's a disaster in Dallas. Big D is for disaster.
Wow. You heard it here first, everyone. Okay, fantasy-wise, Dak Prescott, garbage time points. Man, I think he had 29 stinking fantasy points last week. It was insane. It was awesome.
Yes. Yes.
I drafted him at like round 8.
But CD Lamb, for those of you who took him 2 and 3 overall, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I guess like the 49ers to me are a real huge disappointment because they're last in their league and their division. I mean, last, Peter.
Just lost a divisional game to the Rams.
Exactly. And like the most injured Rams team.
Yes.
I know they're only 1-2, but it just feels like they're 0-3, you know?
And I believe at the beginning of the fourth quarter that San Francisco was up 27-6 at the beginning of the fourth quarter, right at the end of the third quarter yesterday. So they had a massive lead and lost it. That's not 49er football.
Well, and they did that to the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game. They were getting smoked, right? So, Okay, so I agree with you. I think they're the two biggest disappointments. We will use the Cowboys and 49ers as the biggest losers, but I will say the Jags and the Titans are the worst two teams in football.
They are. Yeah.
I mean, 0-3, there's nothing. I mean, what is going on with Jacksonville? Like, how are they not better? They have a great running back. I thought Lawrence was better, but maybe he's not, man.
He actually is since 2021. He has 61 turnovers, by far the most in the NFL in that period.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the other part of it, they have a decent defense, but it's not. They haven't got enough stuff to cover it. So when you get exposed like they did against Buffalo tonight, and Buffalo is a little bit unconscious. It's a little bit over the top for him. But when they go that way, Lawrence looks like he's panicking right now. Like when he went into the second. So he had a good drive to start the second half. So that's a positive thing for him for sure. So we're like, that's going. But I mean, I know you're going to like to hear, we talked about the Vikings, but dude, I'm so sick and tired of listening to Bears fans saying what Caleb Williams is going to be. And look, he's a rookie quarterback. And does he have the potential? He absolutely does. But people think that somehow they figure it out when it comes to their team. But you look at these groups that always come into the NFL. You look at Peyton Manning when he came into the NFL. It was horrible. Peyton Manning was horrible when he came to the NFL. People get surprised when they come in the NFL. And if somebody comes in and has a good rookie season, that's an anomaly. That's not a thing that we can expect from them. Like Jaden Daniels is actually quite a solid fantasy quarterback right now, the way he's playing his game. So the argument at that time was which one was the number one pick. It's kind of showing up like it's Jaden Daniels right now, but that's not to say what's happening in the future. But there's no savior in a rookie year. That doesn't happen. Like that, if that ever happens, you think about like RG3. You think back in the day, these guys.
Mahomes, I think, had 50 touchdowns.
Exactly.
That's fluke. Like not a fluke. That's just like that just doesn't happen.
And Mahomes played behind Alex Smith for the better part of his first and second year, kind of thing, right?
Right.
So like Mahomes didn't come in and start.
Yeah, you're right.
So and neither did Aaron Rodgers. Like you look at neither did Tom Brady. Like come on, man. Like we sit there and we're like, here's these great quarterbacks that are in our league. And we think that some guy that gets drafted is going to come in and save a franchise. I just think I like what I see. He actually had some pretty good numbers this week. So it's like, yes, there's potential to that. But you listen to people and they were talking about Jordan Love, like Jordan Love wasn't going to go anywhere. Jordan Love was just not ready. Jordan Love, when he was drafted, was not ready to step in as the Packers quarterback.
That's a fact.
And and now you look at him, and it's not that he should be necessarily the highest paid quarterback in the league, but he certainly warrants the attention of opposing defensive coaches and coordinators. So, but it took time. It took time. And that's what I just drives me crazy. The Bears have made a couple of good moves. I like some of the things that they're doing. They don't finish it anywhere near the Cowboys and 49ers in this question, but the Bears also are challenged at this point.
Yeah. BPAC makes a really good point here. Someone we haven't talked about because we didn't know what was going to happen tonight, but he said, what about the Bengals? Because they're losing right now.
Yes.
If I'm just going to look at, I don't know if you have the score there, but I'm looking, it's 28-13, the Commanders at this moment. Let me just see if it's still yet. 28-13 with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. I mean, they can still come back, but if they lose this game, Peter, and this is what we're talking about on the fly analysis. Is it really now, or the Bengals, man, the biggest losers? Because you're talking Chase, you're talking T. Higgins is back, you're talking, I mean, running back wise, maybe not. Burrow's back. It's like, how are these guys this bad?
And again, the Bengals get a primetime game at home against a team like the Washington Commanders, and you might get doubled. If it ends up like, 28-14 or 35-21, that is a scorching in the NFL. Like that, you're getting thrashed. So I think that the Bengals are in trouble, but I don't see them in as much of trouble as the Cowboys. If they go 0-3, again, the stats for making the playoffs after being 0-3, I think it's like 2 in the last 32 teams or something have made the playoffs being 0-3. It's something crazy. So the odds are very, very stacked against them. But that's a great comment. I think the Bengals are in trouble. They look great on their first drive and have looked like garbage since then.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next shocking NFL storyline, and it goes down to my Green Bay Packers. I'm in shock, Peter. What are you talking about, Willis? How are my Packers winning with Malik Willis as the quarterback? He was there for 2 weeks before he played. 2 weeks. They traded him for a 7th round pick, and we've got 2 wins with Malik Willis. Tell me how this is even possible.
Hey, if we could say that the Packers 2025 7th round pick led them to 2 wins in the regular season, you'd take that every day. Nobody is going to argue about that. I think, again, he is a manager. I know you were heavily, heavily concerned, as were all Packer fans, as you should have been. But the guy has gone in, and he actually has changed. I think that the value for it is that when defensive coordinators think they're going to play the Packers, they are preparing in their schedule for the Packers. His game is nothing like Jordan Love's. This guy, nothing. This guy can pull out of the pocket, no problem, and he has legs. And so all of a sudden you're preparing for this team, and whoop, here comes this runner. It's like Justin Fields, right? It's like you don't prepare for Justin Fields to throw 360 yards against you. You prepare for him to run 120 against you. Well, you weren't doing that with the Packers. Now it's like, oh my gosh, this guy could run for 100 yards. So I think that they're a good defense. I think they're a solid defense. I don't think they're this elite, like crazy kind of steel curtain defense, but they're very balanced. They can stop the run for the most part this year so far. And you have talented playmakers. I think Jaden Reed, I don't know who it is. Like Christian Watson hasn't been unbelievable, but I think that you have those pieces. Josh Jacobs, he's a stable, pounding workhorse back that can carry it 35 times if you need him to. I think that's a winning combination. And we're showing, same thing with my Chargers right now. We're showing in the NFL, it's kind of a little bit old school. If you can rush the football, you're winning football games right now.
Right.
Rushing teams right now are winning games. Pittsburgh is 3-0. Pittsburgh should not be 3-0.
Yeah. We're going to talk about them next, but you're right. The Commanders, You know, you got Jaden Daniels who's rushing the ball. You got Malik Willis who's rushing the ball. Excuse me. You got Lamar Jackson. Sorry.
That was a very good point. That was extremely good.
Anyways, so that's where we're at, and you're right. So, I mean, the thing is, wouldn't you just like kind of make sure he didn't run? I don't know. Like, I would rather you'd make Willis pass the ball. For example, Anthony Richardson, who everyone was like, you got to draft this guy. You got to draft this guy. He is a rushing quarterback who is horrific right now. The Colts are looking terrible. Now, last week they won because they played someone brutal, but they were 0-2 before last week, right? They played the Bears, by the way. Speaking of the Bears, Peter, I just need to do a side note. I forgot to put this up. You might like this one. How are the Bears feeling right now? Hey, do you think how do you think they're feeling right now? I think they're missing him, like you were saying. Let me just give you one more just for fun. Look at this. Like, you got to be mad, right? You got to be mad. You mad, bro?
Dude, you know what? We talked about this at the end of last season. We're talking about the draft and stuff like that. And they were talking about whether to release or what to do with Justin Fields. I didn't think it's a good move. You think about that team, Justin Fields, okay? My Chargers at number 5 took Joe Alt, 6'8", 332 pounds or something like that. He's actually a natural left tackle. It's like, why wouldn't you shore up your offensive line? They had 2 first-round, like, really good picks. Like, you had Justin Fields there. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And so, not to say that Justin Fields is the answer, but I don't think at number 1 you can say that Caleb Williams is either, or any other rookie quarterback. So they're not building a franchise. It's almost like they're going for fan support. They're trying to do what the fans think they should do or something like that, because it was not cut and dry. Maybe they thought it was, but between Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, it was not clear which guy they should take. It was a lottery. It was like, hey, I think they're both going to end up good.
Okay,
you had Justin Fields.
Okay, let me just share something. How do I say this without upsetting their entire fan base? Let's just go back and dream. All right. I'm just going to add this in right now, Peter. Bears, are they this bad? Okay, this is what's coming up. Okay, let's just dream for a moment. I know you can't go back and change the past, but what if they never traded Justin Fields? And they took that first. I think they should have, if they were going to go Caleb, they should have drafted a lineman. Okay,
yep.
That's what instead of a Dunez, they should have drafted a lineman. That's what I've been saying since the draft. I thought it was a bad move. But what if we go back and say, hindsight 2020? What if they don't trade Justin Fields? They don't draft Caleb Williams. They go get Joe Alt, and then at number 9 or whatever they're at, 11.
Another one, dude. Take another offensive lineman.
Right? Because you had DJ Moore, you have Cole Kmet, you have Keenan Allen.
I know.
It's just I know it's going to make them mad, but like hindsight 2020 at week 3, this is actually a really interesting conversation. Now, in 2 or 3 years down the road, if Caleb's balling out, of course it's the better decision. It should be the better decision. But after 3 weeks, it looks like it's a bad decision to me.
I got here. Hey, this is my thing, and you know what? If there's any NFL general managers listening to this stream right now,
probably a few.
We gotta get people squared around here, bro. This is not about the romance of the game. You look at the best teams in the NFL, they have the best offensive lines in the NFL. They can run the ball, they can protect their quarterback, and they can do with slightly less talent at the wide receiver and skill positions because they can keep the play in. They penetrate, they move defensive lines back. We're still going in and drafting quarterbacks that are unproven And we have no offensive line. Like, honestly, Caleb Williams is thrown into the same lion's den that a good runner and a good escape artist like Justin Fields just came out of. He's way better at getting out of the pocket than Caleb Williams is. And he couldn't survive in Chicago. You didn't even address the offensive line issues. Like, you have 2 picks in the top 10. Take your 2 sides. Take the best left tackle in the thing. Take the best right tackle in the thing. Done. Let's get out. Joe Alt, I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying for this year, Joe Alt is going to be a Pro Bowl offensive line.
I agree.
We have Rashawn Slater on one side. Now we have Joe Alt on the other side because we want Herbert to be successful. He can't be successful without a good offensive line.
Yeah, that's right.
And so look at all the teams through history. The offensive line.
Well, that and defensive line that can get to a quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So
but
those are the 2 things, and they get paid sometimes. I mean, the offensive line gets paid the least, which is wild.
The left tackles get paid more than running backs, but yes. Yeah.
That's true. Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into this topic that you've already kind of done, but like the Steelers and Seahawks are flying, Pete. Will they keep it up? I know what you're saying about the Steelers, but listen, both these teams are 3-0, man. 3-0. This is. Oh, by the way, we got to go back just for a second. No, we'll go to. We'll stay. I got it on the next point. So Steelers and Seahawks are 3-0. I'm shocked that the Seahawks are 3-0, even though I think they're better than everybody said. When you talk to Seahawks fans, they were like, it was either we're going to be awful or I think we're going to be good this year. But no one thought 3-0. 3-0. This is unbelievable. Now, it all depends, of course, of who they've played this seation. And I understand that. We can say it about everybody, right?
Yeah. But they have ease of schedule at this point. But they're still.
I mean, no Tua with the Dolphins, right? So they got them right at the right time.
And then Denver.
You've got Denver at the beginning. Then you had the Patriots. So they've had 3, and let's be honest, 3 week. Next Monday night, they play the Detroit Lions. I'm telling you right now,
Detroit too.
They've had the Detroit Lions number for years. I have Detroit Lions fans. They are so worried. They're like, we always lose to Seattle. Why do we do that? So possibly the Seahawks could be 4-0, and they could be the worst 4-0 team in the history of the NFL because they haven't really played anyone. I mean, Detroit's good. They just find a way. So here, this is what I'm talking about. This is shocking news. 3-0, but they haven't played anyone good yet.
Yeah, but I
think about the Seahawks.
I think the Seahawks actually. I think the Seahawks are for real. I don't think that they're an undefeated team. I don't see them at 9-0 or 10-0, but I do see the balance on that team. That defense, they bring in an incredible mind to replace Pete Carroll. And this guy is just going to make that team better. Like, Pete Carroll had done his thing. He did great things. He won a Super Bowl with them. He went to another Super Bowl with them. He did really great things with them. His time was over there. Now they've taken it to the next level. And you have a guy like Geno Smith, who's a good organizer of the game. He sees the game well. He sat on the bench for years and years with Jets, and like, he was all over the place. But he now actually plays the game and manages the ball well. Their defense is good. They have a very solid running game. Charbonnet comes in yesterday with Walker's injury. We didn't miss a beat with the Seahawks. The Seahawks it was almost like 1B came in and ran the ball and caught the ball. And did he score twice? I think he scored twice.
Yeah, he did.
And so here's this guy who gets his opportunity. And then you look on the outside, and Metcalf catches I think a 51-yard touchdown pass or something like that. That cat. I think he's 6'4", 230 or 6'3", 230 or something like that. He was running away from the safety and DBs. When you watch it back, he's further ahead in the end zone than he was when he caught the ball. So they have the over top thing. They've always had Lockett, who's super good there. He's a possession receiver. He's like a Steve Largent kind of feeling receiver out there, and they have a great defense. And in the NFL, that's the way it rolls. And they have a solid offensive line. They run the ball well. I don't know, man. Like, it's a well-rounded group, and that organization has built, as have the Steelers. The Steelers since 1991 or so have had the same defensive structure in their team. And they play it well. It's simple. They know what they're doing. They know what their assignments are, and everybody does it. So when it's next man up for the Steelers, it's just like a guy walking in practice. He just does his job. It's like watching the New England Patriots when Belichick was there. Their defense had no names on it. They became names a little bit because they won Super Bowls. They weren't like these. They didn't have these studs on defense, but they could play defense. Right. Yes.
Okay, so just want to take a little bit of a fantasy take regarding the Seahawks and my pet peeve, Peter.
Yeah.
The Seahawks right now is JSN. Okay, so week 1, 2 catches, 19 yards. Week 2, monster week, 12 catches, 117 yards. Everybody is saying, start JSN. He's now a top. Okay, dude, Fantasy Pros had him as the 22nd ranked wide receiver for last week. 22nd. They win 24-3. 24-3. You're saying JSN's had another good day. Oh my goodness. I think it was 3 catches, 39 yards. What are you going to do? I'm not believing in him. I'm telling you right now, Jaden Reed is way better than JSN, and that's a fact. That's a fact. and all Green Bay Packers fans were losing their minds when we didn't pick him at 13. But I'm telling you right now, JSN has talent. I think he's very good, but they can't get him the ball. I don't know what's going on in Seattle that way. What is your take on JSN from a fantasy take and maybe from an NFL take?
Well, I've said this about him before, and this is honestly, it kind of is the bottom line. I think that if he's in a different situation, I think he actually is a top 20 fantasy wide receiver. The situation is, at best, he is like receiver 2B in Seattle. Metcalf is absolutely the wide receiver 1 there.
Yep.
Where you're talking about when you're talking about Green Bay, he actually ends up he's the number 1 receiver there. So he is getting the most targets. He's getting the most red zone looks and that sort of thing. Where in Seattle, Lockett gets a lot of those like red zone looks and stuff like that. So all of a sudden you're the third mouth to feed. And that's after they consider throwing to the flat to Walker or to Charbonnet or what. So I just think
run the ball. They've ran the ball effectively.
Oh, I know. So I just mean in the depth chart for JSN doesn't work to his favor. I think that's what the question is. I think his talent, I think the skill that he has, he actually is a wide receiver 1 for somebody, just not on a team like the Seahawks. That as long as Metcalf's there, he'll never be the wide receiver 1 there. So that Reed ends up. I think we had this discussion about who the genuine number 1 guy in Green Bay is. It really looks like Jaden Reed. Like I mean, everything what we've seen. Yes, you get your other receptions from other guys, but it looks like when Love is there, he's looking for the big play to Reed.
And this just in, Peter, you probably haven't seen this. The Jags have just put in Mac Jones. Now, granted, the score is insane. It's absolutely insane. It's 40-10 with 6.5 minutes still left in the fourth quarter. But what you were saying about his, like how many interceptions he has, I mean, it's 40-10. This doesn't surprise me as much. Do they start Mac Jones next week, or do they do Trevor Lawrence?
No, Trevor Lawrence is their guy.
Okay.
I think this is like pulling the goaltender when you let in 6 goals. You just got to get him out of there.
Okay.
He's getting discouraged. He's not growing. The defense isn't. The defense is starting to put in other their second team. Also, another thing that's interesting is Cincinnati is pulling back a little. They're within a possession of Washington as well.
Yes.
Just to put that out there. There is a good game on tonight.
Yeah. And we're going to have to end this stream soon to just finish to watch that. But let's talk about the Steelers. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Justin Fields already. He's been good enough. He's been the best quarterback they've had in a couple seasons, maybe 3 seasons. We always know they have a legit defense. We always know they can run the ball. But what is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is this for real? Are they going to keep it up, or is this just a facade?
Again, I'm gonna sound like a little bit of a broken record here, dog. So you have a defense that is a defense. You have a very solid, very experienced offensive line. You've always had a running game. You've never tried to be something that you're not. If you think of the receivers that they're there, they could afford to say, Deontay Johnson, go away. We're good. We've had enough with you. Like, we're good. And then, to me, the key to the whole thing. So I think that they rank with a group of teams. I think that TJ Watt is the defensive player of the year right now. I say he's the defensive player of the year. That dude right there is a bad man. And so when you put him on a team that really fights against the run on defense as a group, and then you say, you're going to have to put your best left tackle or right tackle against our dude, and we think he beats you. Truth is, he reminds me of the young JJ Watt. Remember back with Houston?
Yep.
Dude was an animal. Nobody wanted to see him, right? When they were going into the playoffs, they weren't talking about their offense. They were talking about JJ Watt. Now you got his little brother doing the things that JJ did. So I think that you're talking between him and Nick Bosa, and I think that Watt actually has the upper hand in that right now. I'm calling it right now. After week 3, TJ Watt, defensive player of the year.
Wow.
That's what with Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. And here's the fantasy take, Peter. Harris out. Warren is getting an MRI. It's Cordell Patterson season, baby. Let's go. He's going to be, I think people are going to spend crazy amounts of fab to get him.
Right.
But
like,
should you? I don't know. If you need a running back, I'm telling you right now, all those bad fantasy advice people who told you to do wide receiver, a zero RB strategy, take all the wide receivers. We told you not to do that. In fact, I went the other way and said double hero RB. Okay. Double hero RB. We're in leagues right now, Peter. Guys are messaging me going, oh man, I need to trade for a running back. Really? That's shocking. And I'm looking at him going, how in the world do you think you're going to get one?
Yeah. For what?
Because you know what? Everybody needs a running back except for me. And I'm just saying.
I was fortunate enough in Show Me the Money to get the 11th overall pick. With the 11th overall pick, I got Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor. And this week, I believe my team's at 170 points.
Wow. I'm bringing that up right now. So is mine.
Are you really?
I got 170.
Oh, dog, maybe you're beating me.
You are 166 on schedule for 172. I'm on schedule for 173. Oh, my goodness. I'm just telling you right now. I don't know why you guys aren't listening to this. Why are we not going viral? This is what we're doing. Guys, you got
Zero RB.
Peter has Joe Burrow at quarterback. Okay.
I know.
18 fantasy points right now. And as Chris Olave, Metcalf. Oh, you guys, you got them so late.
I know.
Taylor, 26 points. Barkley, 31. Neighbors in his flex, 24 points. Oh, my goodness, people. You should be listening to us. Why am I yelling?
I don't know, but all I know is Neighbors was there for me, and you were cursing me because he was looking me in the face.
I know. I knew you were going to take him. But in fairness, the exact same thing happened to us later in the show league. I had to take a wide receiver. And I'm like, I'm taking Neighbors. I think it was right in front of you. Both those leagues are right beside each other, right?
You were taking.
So you got him in Show Me the Money. I got him in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But the point is that our running backs are stacked.
Well,
like I have Cooper Kupp that's down. That was a brilliant move. And I put in Neighbors and he gets me 24 fantasy points. I'm like, there we go.
Here's the example for what we're talking about for that whole process. Sorry, name my 3 receivers again.
Chris Olave, Metcalf, and Neighbors.
Nobody taken before 22.
I know.
Like, why would I waste 2 picks taking wide receivers before like 18? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Dude, your wide receivers right now, you have the number 1 wide receiver and the number 7 wide receiver on that team right now.
Yeah. And every
that.
league that I was going in, I was taking Metcalf and Neighbors as late guys. If I got one of the early guys, that's fantastic. That's great. But those guys, you think about those 2 guys right now in your fantasy team for being your wide receiver 2. Like, why? I don't even understand. So why wouldn't I be taking running backs before that? Because the running backs, as we saw in any draft we were involved with, they go on runs. You're losing running backs. That is not happening, right? Yeah. So once they start running, you're ending up down with James Conner, which is, don't get me wrong, it's not horrible right now, but just that's all that's there.
Yep. Okay, we're going to get into fantasy talk in just a second. We're going to talk about Mark Andrews in just a second, BPAC. We have one more thing we want to talk about, then we're going to dive into just fantasy football talk. Okay, week 4 matchups, Peter. Tell me, like, I know I'm a Packers fan, okay? But is this not a monster game or what for the division? This is an important moment. If you're going to have the Vikings 3-0, the Packers 2-1, I think Jordan Love's back, by the way.
Yes.
Maybe he's not, and that concerns me if he's not. But, I've been concerned and been wrong anyways. Is this game of the week? That's what I want to know.
It's got to be close. It's got to be close. My team also has an amazing game this week. Herbert hopefully is okay, but they're playing Kansas City. So that's another huge divisional matchup right there. Yep. Same records, same scenario. I think in this situation, I remember I was getting Thai food last week, and you and I were talking. I was on the phone with you, and I was like, "Dog, if they start Jordan Love, I'm going to lose my crap." There's no reason to start him this week. They don't need him to win. Give him the extra week of rest. Whatever is going on, he has a huge matchup in 4. So hopefully he plays and proves that right. So I think that the defenses are good with each other. I think the matchup problem, depending on health of, I don't think Addison's going to be back, so I think that benefits you guys. If he is, that's a matchup problem for the Packers, in my opinion. I think it goes the other way as well. I think that with Willis, I don't think that they have the down the field thing, but I think they have the rushing thing. So I think it does have a big impact on who plays quarterback this weekend. I think that's going to change
totally
a lot of stuff for you guys.
And just a reminder, this is how wild Willis has been. Okay, watch this. In 2 starts in Green Bay, it matters who you play for, by the way, Peter. Completion percentage, look at that, 83. This is the 3 starts he had in Tennessee, right? Yeah. Yards, he's smoking it. He didn't even throw a touchdown. Look at his rating, his quarterback rating.
It's beautiful. And to think that you were concerned, Rev Trev. Think that you were concerned.
Right. I mean, now this is where BPAC's comment comes in beautifully. It's the same story as the Vikings shows how good the coaching is to make that adjustment.
Absolutely. And they're playing a system, buddy. They're playing a system. Do we think that McCarthy, if he hadn't gotten injured early for Minnesota, would have been worse than Sam Darnold? They had determined in camp that Sam Darnold, seeing him play with this group, was the 2nd string quarterback. They were leaning at JJ McCarthy. In other words, you don't have to be a star quarterback in this league when you surround them with the right people in the right system. The coach makes all the difference in the world. Absolutely. You look at the Kyle Shanahans of the world. Kyle Shanahan, other than C-Mac, hasn't had a name brand running back since he's been there. And he's always top of the league for running. Even now with Mason, Who knew who Mason was before this?
Who?
What are we talking about? They got rid of Jeff Wilson. Raheem Mostert left. Like, it didn't matter because they fit into the scheme, they fit into the system, and that's what wins them ball games.
And just in, they have a good O-line.
Oh, dog. Right? And say the same thing about Pittsburgh, right? Say the same thing. You talk about that. That is, to me.
Did they score?
Jamar. I think it was Jamar.
No, it's 31-20. 31-20. So maybe they just scored. I don't know.
Not anymore. It's 26. They just scored.
Nice.
It was a deep ball. Jamar Chase.
So you just got more points from Joe Burrow.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about week 4 just for a moment. And then we're going to dive into this. I'm going to show week 4. These are the matchups. So, Pete, we got Thursday night. It's a yawner. It's the Cowboys-Giants battle for 2-2. So that one's a yawner. That's a boring one to watch.
I don't know, man. If the Cowboys lose that and go 1-3,
they're going to riot. They're going to riot. Okay. Get all your answers here, okay? Sorry, wait a minute. That's advertisement.
What are you talking about? You're talking top games?
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about this advertisement that's in the middle. Just say get all your, anyways. Okay, so then on Sunday, the morning games, or I should say early afternoon, depending where you live. Saints, Falcons, that should be a good one. Bengals, if they win, they'll be 1-2. If they lose, they'll be 0-3 against the 1-2 Panthers. If the Bengals can't get it on there, they're hooped, right, Pete?
Yeah.
And then the Rams and the Bears, 1-2. Who's going to win that game off top of your head?
I think the Rams. I think they showed a lot of character against San Francisco, being down in the fourth. I like their chances there, and you got to give it to Matt Stafford. Come on, man, that dude. Both wide receiver 1 and 2 gone, and the dude's still scoring 28. That's a veteran wild quarterback right there.
Okay, so we just talked about the Packers and Vikings. I mean, I'm hoping the Packers win just to shut up the Viking fans. Just being honest. But I don't know. They're pretty riled up, and I can understand why. I do hope Jordan Love plays. That'd be more fun. If they don't, we have an excuse. If we do, if they beat us with Love, then they're going to be loud. They're going to be loud. Okay, Texans should beat the Jaguars, right?
That should be a yawner.
Another yawner. And then here we are, Peter. Steelers 3-0 versus the 1-2 Colts. That's a divisional game. That's going to be interesting.
That's not a divisional game.
Oh, wait a minute. They're not in the same division?
No.
Oh, right.
Colts are in Houston's division.
That's right. Okay, so it's not one. My apologies, everyone.
No.
Apparently, I know jack squat. Okay, so then, I mean, who are you going to pick in that game? I would think it's got to be the Steelers, right?
The Steelers look good, but if it's in, it's in Indy. It's in Indy. See, Indy at home, like they owe the fans something. So what I think you're going to see is a bunch of Jonathan Taylor and then Pittman over the top. So I don't know. I think the Steelers, the way they're looking right now, but Indy knows that if they go 1-3, that playoff chances are taking a serious dive.
Okay, and then the Broncos, Jets. I think that's a Jets win there.
It is, yeah. Hey, by the way, your boy Aaron Rodgers is actually starting to look like Aaron Rodgers again. Just throwing it
takes a little bit of time, and then he just still keeps just passing it to Lazard. So whatever. Yeah. Okay, Eagles Buccaneers. That's gonna be an incredible game.
Good game,
right?
Yeah.
Commanders against the Cardinals. That's a 2-1 team versus a 1 well, maybe not. We'll see what it is. Maybe they're both 1-2. So Cardinals are. I mean, everyone thought they were going to be amazing. They can't stop anyone.
No, and again, the same thing. I have a whole issue with Kyler Murray, man. And don't get me wrong, Marvin Harrison. We may have been wrong about Marvin Harrison, okay? But Kyler Murray is a turnover giant. That guy later in the season, you watch him, you guys. You watch him after week 6, 7, 8. This guy's going to be throwing interceptions and fumbling balls like it's going out of style because he's 5'9", and I don't even know if he's that. I think he's 5'6.5", and he gets beat up with the NFL season as it moves on. He's not ready to play at this level.
Right.
as an elite quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I hear you.
He's a player. I get it. But
yeah, I'm picking the Commanders in that game, but I probably should pick the Cardinals because they're at home. Maybe I'll pick the Cardinals on that one.
You know what's
49ers got to turn it around against Patriots if they don't win that game.
Can you imagine if Patriots go into San Francisco and beat them?
You're going to love that. You're going to love that. It's going to be a lot of Patriot fans on Sunday. Okay, and then we talked about your Chiefs. Your Chargers playing the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That is a big game.
That's a huge game.
They usually have your number, but maybe is Herbert going to play?
We're hearing. So he had X-rays today that came out negative, but we're diagnosing a high ankle sprain, which we've seen him before, is still so problematic. It's just not the same. It's very difficult. So it's hard to say, but we play a different style this year, right? Like we're more of a running game and a run defense. So I wasn't super impressed with Kansas City's run game yesterday.
Your boy James is suspended, happens to go against the Charger game. The fans are losing their minds, Peter.
I know.
And rightfully so.
DJ, if you're out there, DJ, you're still my boy, man. I love you. You're top of the line. You're prime.
I don't understand what's his suspension for.
What's it for?
Yeah,
it's his aggression, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. Well, I mean, you wanted someone to play on the edge. You just don't want to hurt anyone. Okay. Yeah. Browns, Raiders, another yawner. And then you got the Bills, Ravens on Sunday night. Dude, that's going to be awesome.
That has to be awesome. Like, they have got to be good. You're going to see it's going to be a scorcher one way or the other.
The 3-0 Bills are going to play the 1-2 Ravens. Again, the Ravens are in a must-win game. And then we talked about the Monday Nighters. The one's going to be a dud, and the other one's going to be pretty entertaining. I think that Seattle-Detroit game, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not even going to tune in to the Dolphins-Titans game. I could care less. I'm telling you that right now.
Just saying.
Okay.
So awesome.
So let's dive into some fantasy. We've been going for an hour now. We'll just do a couple quick little things.
We're super sorry to everyone that's out there.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's nothing going on right now. Oh, it's just Monday Night Football. The game's close. Other than that, it's just 31-26 with 4 minutes left. Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
8 minutes left. Okay, we got lots of time. Okay, let's just dive into this, Peter. I want to show you this because I'm at the stage where I'm like, there are shocking things. We've already talked about some of them, so we won't repeat it. But I want to talk to you about who is at the top after 3 weeks in fantasy football. Okay. Who is at the top? Now, we talked about the running backs. It's Barkley and Kamara. Okay. We're there. Right.
Yep.
But look at this. This is it. So we got Malik Neighbors, the number one fantasy football legend. Jennings is number 2. Now, this is before all the Buffalo stuff is happening, all these games happening tonight. So this isn't completely accurate. But if you said to me, Trevor, after 3 weeks, the top 5 players are going to be Neighbors, Jennings, Godwin, Rice, and Jefferson, say what? Then you go 6 is Nico Collins, Metcalf, Jaden Reed, who's been with a quarterback who barely throws the ball, bro, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Devontae Smith. That's your top 10, Peter. Wow.
Well, you're talking about when you're in those drafts and both, whether you're doing it on ESPN, whether you're doing it on Sleeper, whether you're doing it on Yahoo, whatever your chosen sort of league is. If you look up and down that list right now, I am the guys that were in the top 10. So if we're talking, at number
20 is Tyreek Hill.
Number 5 is Justin Jefferson. He was in it.
Yeah, but he was the 5th quarterback being taken off the board.
I know. And then you have number 14, Amon-Ra.
Number 17, CeeDee Lamb.
And then number 20, Tyreek Hill. It's like, there you go. That's why I can't pick receivers.
Okay, Chase is going to jump up the board here.
He's
so
wherever
he's at,
he's He has at least, that I know of for sure, he's got at least 70 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight.
Gee.
I'm just going to go and see what I got right now.
Yeah. So, okay. So that is wild, dude. That is wild. Okay, let's go to the next wild list. This one, and this is where BPAC's needing some help, and I'm with them. So BPAC, I have Mark Andrews in a dynasty league. I started him week 1, and then week 2, when he had a bounce back week, I started Kincaid. Okay. All right. Week 3, I should have started Kincaid over Mark Andrews. I feel your pain, bro. I do not know. In my opinion, BPAC, I'm just there. I don't know. I'm not trying to be like brutal, but I'm out on Mark Andrews till he turns it around.
And if I can add to that, I'm in agreement with you pretty much there. I'm a little bit out on Mark Andrews as long as Isaiah Likely is around, and that's not to say that Likely is the number 1 tight end in Baltimore. He's not. Mark Andrews went through his time of being the number 1 receiver or option for Lamar Jackson for the longest time. Likely did not take that over. Likely just had a crazy week 1. Not in a single one of my fantasy leagues did I go in and start offering fab up for Isaiah Likely. Not because I don't like him as a player. I don't know who to trust in Baltimore. Who do I start? So let's say I had both those guys on my roster. Who am I starting every week? That's the problem. It's not that Mark Andrews isn't that guy. It's just I think that Kincaid is the number 3 guy. And then I don't, after that, I don't know where they fit in. I have no idea where they fit in. And in fact, I mean, we won't even get into Kelsey and well,
Laporta. I mean, that's what we do need to talk about just for a quick second is let's just be honest. Kelsey looks horrible. I had him as like the 1 or 2, didn't matter. I thought they were going to interchangeable, pick him high. I got Laporta in most leagues. He's been terrible too, Peter. So
and I think he's injured. He got taken off on a cart yesterday.
Yeah, but it's just but he came back into the game.
Oh,
and
right.
then,
That's right.
And then it's a sprain. It's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
So, but in saying that, he's tight end 14.
Yeah. Well,
he's tight end 14.
Which means he's not draftable.
And Travis Kelsey is tight end 22.
That's the thing, man. When we're talking about fantasy, it's a whole deal. You get these guys and you have all these pros and you have all this analysis for months and months and months and months and months of what happened last year. This is a brand new season. I was on Neighbors like from the first time when if I wanted Joe Alt when we drafted, but at number 6 the Giants took right after us. The Giants took Neighbors. I was like, that's a great pick. That's a perfect pick, right? Did I think he's the number 1 receiver in football? I did not, Trevor.
Yeah. So, but the guy who you kept talking about was Brock Bowers. You told me draft him in every fantasy dynasty league that you have.
Yeah.
And look, he's the number 2 tight end, Peter, in fantasy as a rookie. He is everything Kyle Pitts should be.
Yeah. And you know what I love? You know what I love most about him? It didn't matter. Aiden went in yesterday, whether it's him or Gardner Minshew. Look at the targets. That's what I love about the guy. They want to target this guy. He gets himself open and he's in the middle of the field. So this is that guy that even if he doesn't have a great week for you, guy's going to get 7, 8, 9 targets every game for the rest of the season. And I am not a Raider fan. So just saying straight up, this guy's the real deal.
And if you look at the numbers, I mean, this is why people said wait on tight end, because it really doesn't matter. People drafted Goddard in round 12, okay? He's the number 1 guy. Brock Bowers was going in round 10, 11, 12. Komet wasn't even getting drafted, and the only reason he's number 3 is he had a monster game yesterday. He had 22 fantasy points.
Yeah.
And so he's been terrible for 2 weeks, has 1 week that's good, and then he's the number 3 guy. But likely had a first good week, was terrible all the rest. McBride and Kittle are probably your consistent guys. I think Ferguson is a good.
I think it's, and I don't know the order. I think that you end up with McBride, Kincaid, and like Kittle. And the Brock Bowers could slip in there at number 3. That's like, I think those are the top 3 tight ends by the time we finish.
Where is Kincaid on this list? He's low.
He's low.
He's 39, but he's only had 3.5 fantasy points, but he's having a monster night.
Oh, he had a monster. By the way, just Jamar Chase.
Again,
7 receptions, 118 and 2.
It's only 2 minutes left in the game, by the way. Okay, so last thing we'll talk about. We've already talked about the defenses. We've talked about the running backs. We got to go to quarterback just for a moment because we just need to reiterate how right Peter was, okay? Patrick Mahomes, after 2 weeks, is quarterback 10. Now, is he still quarterback 10? I think Jaden Daniels might jump in front of him. Is that correct?
Daniels is having a killer night right now.
Yeah, so Daniels and Allen are both going to jump over. And so we're talking Patrick Mahomes, Peter, like you said, is going to, what was he, quarterback 8 last year? He's going to be quarterback 12. He's going to be quarterback 12 after 3 weeks. You were right. Do not draft him. My goodness gracious.
Yeah, not ready for him. And when you see somebody like Travis Kelce having the season that he's having so far, it's, hey, and here's the thing about Patrick Mahomes. And I say this to you all the time. I think this guy is an absolute elite quarterback. As a leader on the field, a guy that can take you down and get you in field goal range to win a game, he is absolutely the best quarterback in the league. I'm saying that right now. Fantasy-wise, do not draft Patrick Mahomes. That's what I'm saying. This guy, no questions, he is top 2 quarterbacks in the NFL without a question. When you're talking about the NFL and games and winning games, when it's fantasy, that's not what he does. That's not his, like right now. He doesn't care. He just wants to win, and he does whatever. Last week, I think he threw for 151 yards or 141 yards, which was his lowest total since becoming a starter. Wow. Like, just doesn't. That's not where it's at with them right now.
And the biggest 2 guys that are surprising on this list is obviously Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. In our opinion, had no business being here, but they're proving the world wrong. Also, Derek Carr is number 7.
Yeah, I don't know.
What a season! What a season these guys have started.
Yeah,
I if you can sell high, I think it's good. But I don't know. Maybe Sam Darnold is the guy you want to keep because he would be your second quarterback. You could trade your starting quarterback away, whether it's Hurts, whether it's Mahomes, whether it's, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't trade away like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, but
Josh Allen after tonight should be the number 1 quarterback.
Yeah, he'll be the number 1 quarterback for sure. Actually, let me just see if I refresh this. No, they still haven't updated it.
No, I don't. Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So that's our fantasy football talk. There's 2 minutes left in the game. If you're still here, there's 4 people watching right now. There's been a number of people jumping in and out. We want to give big shout outs to Pack Daddy, B-Pack, Coach Rob, Willie, Ebert 42, all jumping in, watching the show tonight. If you're watching later, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you. We want to just give out some shout outs, some love. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, everyone. And Peter, any concluding thoughts before we head out and see the Bengals win their first game?
I just need him to keep up with me right now. I need Jamar just to do a little bit more because my DraftKings is working it right now with Jamar. and I'm in a little bit of dough right now. So let's just keep going. Come on now.
$3.20 for hashtag retirement.
Come on now.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for showing up, for being here. We appreciate you. And we're just going to say goodbye and hope that you have a great night. Tune in next week. We'll have tons of great content. And if you don't tune in, I mean, that's your fault, but it is what it is. Okay. So I got to do an outro. See you, everyone.
Peace. Dude,
Hey.
that was fun.